Alright, looks good. Hello everybody, I'm SDiezal. I'm going to be doing a Super Mario Bros. 3 80% warpless randomizer. Before I start, I will go through a quick few things about the seed that we're going to be doing. We are doing tourney group 2 flags. These flags allow hammers to break locks and end cards to appear throughout each world. The end cards are really good because we can get hammers that will break those locks, and locks can block progression. Forts unlock those blocks that we don't have hammers for, so sometimes it's necessary. Majority of the time it's necessary, and we'll see how bad it is. Reload the seed. Time starts will be in 3, 2, 1, go. So also with Mario 3 Randomizer, the pipes are randomized. So in this case, they can either give us a shortcut or not give us a shortcut. In this case, they gave us a little bit of a one, which happened to land us right onto a hammer bro. Yeah, this is gonna be a tough start. But he's gonna get out of our way for right now. So, if we don't have a hammer to break a lock, that means we need to go for the fortress that blocks the lock. In World 2, there is only one fortress, so that means there's only one fortress that we have to go for. In any world that there are multiple fortresses with multiple locks, it becomes more of a gamble of which one to go to. And in that case, that's where Randomizer really comes into the play of how you play the game. So we know that the fortress is on the left side, which is right here. Once we finish this fortress, it will break open that lock that is right before the castle. This fortress is pretty simple. I believe it is the fortress to world... I only want to say it's 4 or 5. It could be 3 as well. Can't remember, but that's fine. Boom boom. So the big thing to these flags within Mario 3 Randomizer is knowing where the locks are placed within the world and knowing where the forts are. And also knowing what you have in your inventory. So if you have a hammer in your inventory, these flags allow you to use that hammer to break the lock, therefore skipping the fortress. That's pretty bad. That's fine. And due to the nature of Randomizer, you may or might not get a hammer to break that lock. And if you don't, then you pretty much just have to go for the fortress that unlocks it. In worlds where there are multiple fortresses, sometimes you are going for a fortress that you don't know if it's going to break it, and that's where kind of the the big gambles and Randomizer come into play. We're getting a really bad hammer bro here. Let's see if we can get past him. Small Mario with this body of water is really bad. No, he took the jump. That's fine. And we can get past this guy. So every time the hammer bro moves a spot, it actually changes the fight that you're gonna get. That's kind of bad. So we're gonna go back up here. is a World 3 stage. So within the worlds, the stages themselves are randomized. You can get a stage from any world within any area. There are flags that restrict which levels you can get within a world. But within the flags that we're playing today, you can get pretty much any stage in any world. There's no restrictions whatsoever. Forts will always be forts, so you don't have to worry about that. And let's just get past it. There we go. Three stars will give you lives. That's a good buffer to work with, since the start of this rando has not been very nice to us. So we have an option of a coin chip or a hammer bro. We'll go for the coin chip just to show off what it does. So in vanilla, the coin chips are auto-scrollers. In Randomizer, and pretty much the case for all auto-scrollers in Mario 3, they have been removed. Every auto-scroller that can be removed in Mario 3 for Randomizer is removed, including the coin chips like you just saw right there. And coin chips will also always give you a item at the end of them. Didn't want to do that, that's fine. So this is a very notorious bad stage for Randomizer because of the enemy sprites that can pop up at any given moment here. A lot of the time a boss bass can show up here. If you're not familiar with boss bass, it is the giant cheep, canonly known as Big Bertha. Within the community we just call it boss bass because it's a giant cheep that will eat you whole. And I'm not gonna make that, that's fine. But a boss bass can appear in majority of the stages that you see, and again, it's clearly based on RNG whether it's gonna pop up or not. So this stage is really slow if you don't have a raccoon, tanuki, any way to fly. Otherwise, we would have been able to skip that platform section right there, where you have to hit invisible blocks, and this one as well. You can gain P-speed off of that top ledge and skip having to need to hit those blocks right there. But we were small Mario, unable to do that, so you kind of have to deal with what you're given. Alright, first airship. Airships have also had their auto-scrollers removed. The ship levels themselves are shuffled within each other. But the Koopa Kid at the end of them is always vanilla to the world that you're playing in. So in this case, World 2, I want to say, is Roy? Or no, I think it's actually Martin. Yeah, it's Martin. Okay, there you go. So the Koopa Kid is always tied to the world that you played in, but the stage itself will be shuffled among other airships. And also, the HP of that Koopa Kid is also randomized between 1 and 5 hits. So it may take 1 stomp to take out the Koopa Kid, or all the way up to 5. You may have to hit that Koopa Kid 5 times. The fire kill is always the same. It takes the same amount of fireballs to take down a Koopa Kid. But if you're going to do jumps, it is random between 1 and 5 jumps. World 2 will be World 6. World 6 has 3 fortresses, which has a potential of 3 possible locks that will block our progression. Or a mixture of that plus bridges. Usually it's never all bridges. But in this case, it'll be, it could be a potential of some locks that'll block our progression if we don't have any hammers to break them with. We'll have to do the corresponding fortress to unlock the lock blocking our path. Bridges are the small little... So if you can see right here, this is a bridge right here. Sometimes there's a bridge that will be blocking your progression that is unlocked by doing a fortress within that world. In World 6, it can happen near the very end where the castle is. You could get right to the castle in World 6, and there'd be a bridge blocking your gap there, and you would have to go back and do the fortress that unlocks that bridge. And again, that is based on the flags that you're playing for the Mario 3 Randomizer. There are flags that, you know, just don't allow that to happen. Most general randomizers have that option enabled to where a lot of the guessing that comes in these randomizers are which fortress do I do, which path do I take, which pipe do I take. So we're going to check this pipe right here to see if it gives us a shortcut in World 6. Because there are 4 pipes. This is a vanilla pipe with a vanilla bridge that is required, so we cannot take this path. So we basically have to go back. We can skip that coin ship by doing a scroll skip. In any screen that basically advances the screen by scrolling like that, you can skip Hammer Bros, you can skip coin ships by holding the direction in which the path is intended. So as the screen transitioned right there, I held down because that was the next path to take, and it allows you to skip whatever encounters on the overworld. Whether it be, like I said, a Hammer Bro, a coin chip, you can skip it easily like that. Since we know the other pipe takes us to the one up top, we know that that pipe behind the rock takes us to this pipe. So there's no reason to check that pipe at all to see if it gives us a shortcut. And again, the Hammer Bros are randomized. Normally you would get Ice World Hammer Bros here. And here we have gotten both a World 3 and a World 2 Hammer Bro. And the prize that you get at the Hammer Bro is also randomized as well. World 6 is notoriously known for being a very long world in most cases for Randomizer. Mostly because you either need a pipe in the beginning of the world to take you to the end. The pipe locations are always shuffled in every world that you do within these flags, so again, it depends on where it takes you. This stage doesn't really falter any differently in Randomizer. That is a stage that requires you to have a star throughout the entirety of it. So yeah, in this case, this would be a pretty long World 6. We didn't have any shortcut whatsoever. It may as well be a vanilla World 6. We had pipes that did not give us a shortcut. They were pretty vanilla in their location. And the fortress that we had to do at the start did not give us a bridge that would allow us to use the pipe near the middle screen at the top. Otherwise, you'd actually get a pretty decent shortcut here. And we just take some hits, that's fine. Grab that. We're just getting hit by everything. That's okay, though. By the way, the seed that I'm playing today has not been vetted whatsoever. I generated this seed mere seconds before doing this run that you see before you. So I wanted to make it as random as possible so that I know that no, that I messed that up. So that I know I had nothing knowing going into this seed whatsoever. I messed up there. That was my fault. You're actually supposed to kill this guy at the start. The problem that happens in this stage is if you let that enemy fly around for the majority of the stage, it will actually despawn one of these platforms. And it was this one right here, actually. There we go. If there's too many sprites on the screen, just like a lot of NES games, they despawn sprites that are supposed to appear, and then they don't appear. In this case, it's really bad. I don't have anything to use here. We could actually test our luck with the end cards here and hope we get a power-up that'll help us. The end cards are also shuffled, so they are not along the vanilla pattern, and just because I got a mushroom there doesn't mean I got a mushroom. I actually got another star. So your reward is also randomized as well. So end cards can be placed within the flags that you do, and the rewards that you get from matching a end card are not, well, they can be what it says, but majority of the time they're different because they are shuffled. So just because I got matched 2 mushrooms there doesn't mean I get a mushroom. In that case, it gave me a star. Which is why in certain flags, there we go. In certain flags, doing end cards where they're allowed can be beneficial because you could get a hammer in one of the end cards. You can actually get hammers in end cards, and they can break locks, which can block or open up routing decisions for allowing you to skip stages. The most beneficial thing to hammers is the ability to skip stages. This stage is a World 8 airship level. I believe this is the one after the hand stages. This is normally an auto-scroller. The auto-scroller is removed. And at the end of this one, you do a boom boom, which gives you the orb. So yeah, that is the Air Force level of Mario 3. The stage that you normally do after the hand stages. Normally an auto-scroller, and in Randomizer, that auto-scroller is removed. That was a mistake. Try that again. And there's a chest behind that one, and there we go. So, normally, like I said, the auto-scrollers are active in the airships. They become deactive in Randomizer, which pretty much requires you to relearn that stage that you've known from, like, your entire childhood memories of playing this game. Because it becomes a completely different level without the auto-scroller attached. There's actually P-Wing or P-Speed strats to every ship level without the auto-scroller that you get used to playing Randomizer, so it definitely comes into play the more you do it. And it definitely makes this game 100% more enjoyable without auto-scrollers. So World 3 will be World 4. World 3 is guaranteed that you will have to do at least one fortress to build a bridge to the castle. In this case, we are greeted with both fortresses, this being the fortress to World 1. The interesting thing about the Fortress to World 1 is it will always be placed logically to where you do not have to kill Boom Boom for progression. And that being said, when you get the secret item in the World 1 Fortress, it does not break the lock. Because normally it's a whistle. And when you get the whistle in World 1, it does not break the lock. It defeats the fortress. You don't have to do the fortress again. No match there. But you do not have to break the lock. So in this case, we didn't have to do the first fortress because it wasn't going to break open a lock or build a bridge for us. I did not mean to go in that. Grab that while I'm over here. Free power up here. If you go into it, it is random. Oh, we were on the wrong side though. That's fine. Don't need it. And World 1 Fortress is the only fortress that acts like that, to where if you go to the whistle location, it does not break the lock. That is the only fortress that acts like that. There's no others that there's a secret entrance or exit that will not break a lock for you within a world. So if you see a World 1, you know it's not required for progression. You can go for the secret item and not be soft locked. Now, that doesn't mean it may not give you a shortcut within a specific situation, but it'll never block you from progression. Which is why a lot of the time you will see a vanilla World 1 fortress. So you'll be in World 1 and you'll get the fortress that is in that world. That'll happen a lot just because of how that fortress works logically. I wanted to avoid the star, so that's like one of the hardest things to do, is avoid a star when you don't want it. Mostly because if you don't need the lives, you have to sit through that cutscene right there. And especially if you're in a race, you definitely don't want to hit that cutscene on accident. Right there, we did not need the extra lives. Holy crap. That was really bad. We had the worst luck of falling directly into that hole. That was terrible. And there's a boss bass here. That's cool. So the boss bass can swallow you whole. unless you have a star equipped. If you are Star Mario, it won't affect you, but in that situation, we would have been fine. So when you do complete a coin chip, the auto-scroller is removed from the coin chip, and you can fly right through it. And at the end, you will fight a Hammer Bro that will give you a randomized item. This is very vanilla. Holy cow, this is very vanilla. You usually find nippers in that stage vanilla, and sure enough, we got them there in this stage as well. Luckily, we got a star there, which makes the ending a little bit easier, but yeah. That was a very vanilla stage for Randomizer. We're gonna skip that end card, and we're gonna have to do another coin chip. We do get an item at the end of it, but in most cases, this is a huge time sink. We do get a hammer out of it, though, so at least we got that. And as I explained before, hammers are very valuable in the flags that I've picked for this randomizer. The hammers will break locks, and those are the big padlocks that you see on the overworld, which are shuffled around on the in-between stages, whether it be a castle or a fortress or a regular stage for progression. There are situations where you can use a hammer to skip stages, and that is exactly what you hope for. Also, at the end of each world, -7, Princess Peach will give you a random item. Normally she gives you P-Wings, a cloud. Sometimes I think there's like a music box you'll get. But she will always give you a random item at the end of each world. Except for World 7, where that acts vanilla. When you beat World 7 and Mario 3, it is a letter from Bowser saying that he captured the princess. And you do not get an item from that. So you technically get 6 free items from each world, -7. World 7 being the plant world. And they can be pretty much any item at all. Whether it be a tanuki, a hammer, a hammer suit, flower, mushroom, you name it. It is also pretty much randomized. This is a World 6 level. I believe it is World 6 stage... It's like 4 or 7. One of those two. Can't remember. But it's definitely a World 6, so you can tell because of everything else. It's definitely a World 2 level. This is a really nasty stage to get a boss bass in, because it travels along the bottom level there. Take the safe route there. This hammer rope fight, that was not too bad. You can do crouch jumps to make that a little bit faster. Another hammer. I'm really sad we don't have a lot of opportunities to use them yet, but maybe we will coming up here soon. Normally, I would be ecstatic of finding these many amount of hammers that we found so far. That was bad. This Koopa Kid has the ability to stun lock you. If you are on the ground when it jumps, it will stop your movement. And we call it Earthquake, we call it Ground Pound, we call it numerous things. Whenever a Koopa Kid has it, it's... whenever you're not expecting it is when it's the worst. A lot of the times, if Wendy has Ground Pound, you want to avoid it at all costs. Yeah, same. Mario 3 is easily the game I've probably put the most lifetime hours into. I played this game a ton as a kid. So much that now that I play Randomizer for it, it completely changes everything that you think about this video game, like, in its entirety. Especially because, so Fred Coughlin is the developer of the Randomizer for Mario 3. If you don't know Fred Coughlin, he's also developed the Zelda 1 Randomizer, which is very, very good. But the features that he put into this rando, including the ability to use hammers to break locks, which gives you freedom, gives you a lot of freedom within this rando, of being able to skip stages if you have it, you know, based on RNG, if you get hammers or not. I believe we have to do this fortress. Yeah, we do. Fred has done such a phenomenal job with this randomizer that it really does give you a new experience of a classic every time you play it. And the different options of flag settings that you can have for these seeds. You can keep everything vanilla and just have like random enemies. You can keep the enemies vanilla and have random stages, random orders. Like there's so many different options for this randomizer that really makes it that much better than playing it vanilla over and over. But I can get over to other settings and other different types of flags that you can have playing for this game afterwards. There's so many accessible ways to play this game, and I'll go over that later. The player choice. Absolutely. So this stage requires you to have an ability to fly. If you come into this stage already with a raccoon or a tanuki or a P-wing, then you made a really good choice coming into this fortress. Even if you have a big Mario, it makes this fortress a lot easier. Coming into this fortress with small Mario is the worst situation because you have to get the power up in the second room, go back to the first room, hit the P-switch, go to the secret door, etc., etc., and how to finish that level. But again, you don't know when that stage pops up. We actually have to go to this one. We're going to use a music box there, and then go back. 7F2! This is a vanilla fortress that pops up in this world. And it is notoriously one of the worst fortresses in the game, just because of its platforming portions, as you can see here. The enemies that come out of pipes are randomized. They're either the green piranha plants like that just come up, or they're the red ones that shoot fireballs at you. They will be swapped within each other, so you don't know if you're going to get an easy piranha plant to deal with or a difficult one that's going to be shooting fireballs at you. Each seed, it presents you with a different enemy within the pipe. And that's another great thing about this randomizer, is it always keeps you on your toes. At every stage, you can never be too comfortable. You can never rely on whether you're like a vanilla Mario 3 runner. You can never really truly rely on strats that you use within that. In most stages that enemies aren't like changed around, you can. But because of the sprites that are randomized within the... hold on one sec. Let's see if I can get this. Probably messed it up. There we go. We got it. You can't really speedrun a level when the enemy sprites are randomized within them. So you kind of use the skills that you know and just kind of tread lightly. The music boxes will put those plant stages to sleep so we don't have to do them. That is the only benefit to getting a music box, is specifically for Hammer Bros and the plant stages in World 7. It's the only time you'll be using them. Anytime you have any other time that you get them, they are just a waste of time. Yep, so that Koopa Kid was a one-hit kill. They can either be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and that one was 1. You definitely always want 1. Anything 3 or less, you can be pretty happy about. 4 or 5, you're wondering, why is this happening? This World 3 has a pretty not fun layout. So World 3 has 5 pipes. Oh no! I made a bad jump there. World 3 has 5 pipes. 2 sets of pipes that link to each other, and 1 pipe that takes you to the castle. The object to do, to complete World 3 is to find the 1 pipe that takes you to the castle and determine whether or not there's a lock blocking the castle. Oh, this is a tough stage because there's a lot of sprites that can get in your way here. Let me go for the power up here. There we go. Just to make it a little bit easier. This is a very tough stage for Randomizer. The Lakitu will always be there, but this sprite right here is random, and that one as well. It happens to be a Spiny. Sometimes it can be a one of the cannonball guys with the flame tail, or it can be a fire snake, or it can be a Koopa like it was there. It's really tough, and then you just kind of have to like make a split decision on what to do when you get there. This fortress logically will break the lock that is right above us. The seed will never ever require you to have a hammer to break a lock. It is merely a convenience within the flags that we are playing. So in this case, because there's a lock right in front of us, we are greeted with a fortress within the first few stages to break that lock. but the seed will never require you to have a hammer to break it in any situation. Yeah, this randomizer requires you to think on your feet in the weirdest ways possible, but also the most creative and interesting ways possible as well. We're also going to see that aspect come into play in World 8. By the way, this is a beta level. I did not go over beta levels. So there are beta levels within Mario 3 that were not released in the full version of the game. Fred was able to extract the beta levels that were not released in the North American or even Japan version, full release version of the game, into the randomizer. And that was one of them. They are completely random. Oh wow, and there's our castle. They're completely random. And you would not see these beta levels anywhere else except for playing like a ROM hack that has them included. But it is just another really cool aspect of the randomizer that Fred implemented to include the beta levels. And yeah, it's really nice. This is Wendy, one of the most unliked Koopa kids, because she shoots those rings that bounce around the screen there. And she can have a really bad pattern where she shoots her rings, has ground pound, and takes 5 hits to kill, which is the worst setup for Wendy that you want. That one wasn't bad. It was, I believe it was like 2 or 3 hits, and it was 3. She didn't have ground pound. She had a regular jump, and was relatively easy. Alright, so the final world that we have not done is World 5. I'm gonna grab the power up here. World 5 works very differently than all of the other worlds in Randomizer. Wait for this fire to go. That's not what I wanted. That's fine. So, World 5 has 2 fortresses and the tower stage. One fortress builds a bridge in the first area. The blue fortress there breaks the blue lock, and the tower stage takes you to a pipe. So we actually have to do this fortress because it builds a bridge between the area that we're in right now. That was a very silly death. From here to 9. So once we finish this fortress, it'll build a bridge from that spot to stage 9. Excuse me while I try not to die here. Spawn that. There we go. And there we go. Yeah, the actual World 5 was where we're at now. Yeah, so there you go. So that one's going to build a bridge for there. There was a lock next to stage 2 that was colored blue. And the fortress that, the very first fortress that we did in this world was colored blue, so it broke that one. That is how this world differentiates from other worlds within Mario 3. Is the lock structure and the tower stage. Hello. Can I get up that? I missed the jump. I don't know if that'll come back. Alright, it'll come back. Today I learned. Today I learned to not jump from there. That was bad. We have a cloud. We're going to use that cloud to skip it. Clouds allow you to skip levels, and those are collected randomly throughout the run. Whether they be from Hammer Bros or end cards, clouds are one of the most valuable, usable items, along with hammers and a randomizer. In this case, it allowed us to skip a level that we did not want to redo whatsoever, which is most of the time what I use them for. The tower stage is vanilla minus the enemies on the outside of the tower. So this is this enemy sprite right here. Normally you would not see a piranha plant right there. It is usually a Koopa. So we're just gonna keep going. Normally you would not see a angry sun here as well. Yet we do. So we're gonna go ahead and use a P-Wing here. Angry suns can pop up in certain levels. It is a very common instance that an angry sun pops up right there. Yep, so we're in the final world of the regular ones that you run into, and then World 8 will be the final one to the end of the seed. Meaning all the hammers that we've had so far, we haven't really been able to use them for a shortcut, which has made this a longer seed than it usually needs to be. That was really bad. We have a frog suit though. This is one of the very rare instances where a frog suit is actually very fast. The Lakitu is vanilla. It'll always spawn in this stage. There we go. This one is 1/6, which you normally don't see fire snakes there. That was pretty bad. So we have to work around them a little bit. You don't usually see that one or them. Those are usually just regular Koopas, but thanks to Rando, it does switch those enemy sprites around a little bit. And this is why you can never get too comfortable as a vanilla Mario 3 runner with what you're going to run into. You would imagine and think in your muscle memory you're going to run into just, you know, a regular Koopa there. But Randomizer does not allow that to happen. So a lot of these seeds do really benefit off of having split-second decision making. And that usually ends up being a lot easier experience throughout these seeds. Roy's got ground pound, But he was only 3 hits there, so wasn't too bad. The ground pound can happen with any of the Koopa kids, so you always have to be wary of that. And now on to the final world, World 8, which is Bowser's World. We have tons of hammers to use. If we can use them, we will. Especially if they give us a shortcut to Bowser's Castle. Bowser Castle could be locked behind the locks or bridges. Bridges have to be completed by forts. Locks like that one can be broken with the hammers, but we won't have to do that one. Because it's a hand stage. Hand stages are pretty much regular stages, so we won't have to do it. There we go. So that fortress did not even break that lock. There's a fortress above us in that first screen that could break a lock, but we're going to skip it. Let's see where this pipe goes. It could take us to Bowser. It takes us to the top left. Oh, that's a hand stage, so we can die here. We're going to enforce a death warp here because we know we don't need to do this level. So go back to this pipe here. And pretty much a lot of World 8 is a lot of death warping. Trying to find out which pipe, which stage you need to do. Here's the hand stage area. Normally these are all hand stages, but they are filled with pipes. Again, we are looking for the pipe that takes us to Bowser. So the left pipe takes us to this pipe, meaning the middle pipe could take us there. And there it is. We have nothing in our way. This is unheard of. Usually you have a bridge or a lock in your way to Bowser. Again, it's completely random whether or not it's going to pop up there or not. In this case, this was a very, very generous World 8. We did not have to do any side fortresses, any side stages, just for progression. We're going to do a wall clip here. And then hop on over. Wow, that was a very, very generous World 8. The worst World 8s are where there's a bridge that you need to clear or a lock right before Bowser's Castle. And then so you have to backtrack from that screen to do a fortress or hope for a hammer to break a lock. There's different situations that can block your progression to Bowser. So what we're doing here is the crouch strat. There is no hitbox on the very bottom part of Bowser, so you can crouch or be small Mario and not move within a certain part of the hitbox. Within Bowser, not take any damage. Time is coming up as I enter the door here. And time. So this is definitely a longer seed than I wanted for a marathon run. Let me just go ahead and say that first. Usually these runs last between 35 and 40 minutes. We went 53 minutes on this one. It was a much longer seed than I hoped for. Yeah, that is unfortunately the bad side to Randomizer is sometimes you get a long seed. And sometimes it happens in a marathon setting. But yeah, that is Mario 3 Randomizer. Shoutouts to Fred Coughlin, who's developed this rando, as well as the Zelda 1 Randomizer. If you enjoy both of those games, he has made a fantastic program for both of them. Thank you for having me, Fleet Fast. If you're interested more into this randomizer, you can look it up on, I believe, the speedrun.com forums, and you can also Google it, just Speedrun 3, or Super Mario Bros. 3 randomizer Discord. You can find more information there. Thank you for having me.